I'm Police Chief Scott Walker with Lake of the Woods Security. Today I'd like to just take a brief moment and describe the back gate operations. This is a members-only gate, but we do see several vendors and guests following GPS coordinates that bring them to this location. A good reminder for guests, if you live in this back gate area of the community, is use 102 Lakeview, the Holcomb Building address, to get your guests and your vendors, contractors out onto the Route 3 corridor and away from the 601 or Flat Run Road area. We do have several gate strikes due to tailgating in this area, and this is where a vehicle is attempting to follow another member at close proximity through the gate system. The problem, this is not designed for tailgating. The gate will actually come down and hit the tailing vehicle. With the camera systems in the area, we do catch most of this activity. The ones we don't catch, it actually costs the homeowner $1,500 to $2,000 every time we have to repair the system back here. So it's very important to give your guests the 102 Lakeview address, get them off the 601 corridor and up to the Route 3 corridor so they can use the main entrance guest. This is a members only area. Thanks for staying safe and enjoy your life around the lake.
Thank you for joining us. My name is Louie Amador and I'm your host of Fishing with Louie. As you can see, we're in a different location, a different lake, but it's still inside Lake of the Woods. So we are fishing right now, or we will be fishing right now, Lake Keaton. This is a 50-acre lake, give or take a little bit. It has one public beach and one public ramp. There are some restrictions for you to be able to fish here. You cannot have a gas motor engine on your boat, not even attached to it, when you enter the waters of this beautiful lake. But you could bring your canoes, your pontoon boats that we'll be showing you. It has to be electric. They're trying to keep this in a low profile, less active lake, if you want to say that. But don't let that fool you. The fish are here. And when I come here to this lake, I keep Keith in mind. So I'm going to introduce you to my friend who has welcomed me over here. Keith, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Pleasure to be here with you. Myself and the producer, we're sure we're going to enjoy this time here with you. You've been living on the lake for how long now?
About 3 years.
3 years, and I know you're a fisherman yourself, because I know you, you know, off camera. I do know you. So I thank you again. And before we begin, I want to show the audience the tackle gear that I'll be using today, so that you get an idea, a head start of what I'm going for, and so forth. So let me take the time to show you. In what I've said, tried to do before we get into this, show you that, hey, if you're going to be in a small craft, a boat in this case, you want to make sure you don't overpack, because then things could get a little bit complicated, especially if you have a young one with you in the canoe and so forth. But let me show you what I have. I could go all out with baits for crappie, brim, bass. We will catch some bass here, but you could go all that and then kind of get confused a little bit, or just simplify, have something handy that you could reach for and get. And this is all that I'm hoping I need today. Okay, something real simple. And like I mentioned in other episodes, you want to have your basic tools that are going to take you, you know, make good use for it as we go along the way. Simple stuff. And I brought 4 rods and reels I have one set up for top water action early. I have one with a little tube jig that to catch some smaller fish. Okay. I have one that I'm going to rig with a regular worm on your Texas style rig. And as you can see, all I'm using right now is spinning rods. Okay, I'm trying to keep this simple, 6 to 8 pound test line, maybe 10 here and there, but I'm pretty sure it's just 6 to 8. Now I brought also a crankbait. I've talked about this before in previous shows, but I have yet to use it on the TV show with you guys. So I brought one out here. Now, you would say, well, why, Louie, you have so many rods? Well, guess what, folks? You know, I am filming, so instead of me having to retie and take the time, I'm just, you know, going through the motions of picking up a rod and continue fishing and save some time. But if I was coming out here on a canoe or something, I would probably just bring 2 rods, no more than that. Okay? So, hey, we got to go fishing now because there is an eclipse coming and we want to get out there before it hits. So, thank you. All right, folks, here comes the first cast. As you can see up in my background, that's the dam that I was talking about. And I'm going to cast out towards in that direction and see what happens. Did you get that one? I forget to turn the... Did you get that one? let me start all over. This is what I'm using, the top water right now. It's a little bit smaller than what I would normally use because I'm trying to catch a crappie and so forth. They'll hit this. As a matter of fact, they hit one the other day when we were up on the big lake. So that's what I'm throwing right now. You've seen that before in the presentation. Cast it, pop, 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 and let's see what happens. All right, so you can see that corner, the sun hasn't hit there yet, and hopefully, so folks, I just picked up a small jig. It's black with chartreuse color tail. As you can see, it's kind of small, but it's good size for the fish that we're trying to catch on your bluegills and crappie and so forth. I'm using about 6 pound test line on this fishing combination that I have. So put this in the water, put it to the test. All right, we're about 20 yards from the shoreline here, and there is a little bit of action on the edges. I see a lot of fish or bait fish, I should say, probably breaking the surface, and hopefully we're able to get something to hit. You know, folks, throughout the years, and even growing up when I was a young kid till now, everybody's talking about, well, is it too windy? Is there not enough wind to catch fish? Is it too hot, too cold? The barometric pressure, what is it? Where is it rising? Is it falling? Full moon, eclipse, whatever it may be. I'm sure they all have some type of an effect, one more than others. I'm not a scientist, so I'm not gonna try to figure that one out. But what I can tell you is that don't let that hold you back. Go out there and have a good time, you know, and give it a shot. Take someone fishing with you so you could talk, have a conversation and so forth, and just enjoy it. Let the fish tell you if they're hungry or not. And that's, to me, same thing if you're in the outdoors and you pursued other, you know, hunting and so forth. If that's your thing, you know, they got their own reasons, you know, this and that, the rut and so forth. So just go out there and have a fun time. All right, let me know. So just to give you an idea with the little jigs, what I'm doing right now to be effective with this is you're casting it down like a worm, cast it out, let it sink, and then you keep on twitching it, and to generate a strike, let it fall all the way to the bottom. Sometimes the fish doesn't even give you the opportunity to let it go to the bottom, and they go ahead and hit it on the drop, on the fall, and then just, I don't know if we could capture my hand, but that's all I'm twitching it right there. Same as a worm or any of the soft plastics are going to have very similar techniques. Well, behind me you got Captain Keith, was able to put a rod in the water there and give it a shot. It's always good to have two rods trying to catch fish. Folks, Captain Keith is using a different lure. He's using the like a twisted tail, curly tail, is a small jig. I'll show you that in a bit here too. And giving him a different color. He's using a brown. Trying to see if we could see what the fish want to eat. Well, folks, Keith went ahead and caught a fish here, and it's a largemouth bass. It's probably this year's bass. You know, it was probably born this this year, and I'm going to show you what he's using. And maybe I should put that on what he's using. But let me get. Okay. Good job, Keith. I'm going to go ahead and put this back in the water, come back and make some more. But this is what he's using, okay? If my memory serves me right, I think they call these twister misters or something like that. But it's just a brown jig. And he put a little pink jig on it, the head of it, and that's how he's got it set up. You know, you rig it all the way up there, and in this case he does it on a jig. You do have the hook exposed, but you know, you cast, let it sink, and then you kind of reeling it back and so forth, and then the tail moves. So good job, Keith. Way to break the ice. Folks, as you can see up ahead, you see the water movement that we have here? Well, those are aerators that we have in this lake. We have went ahead and put 6 aerators throughout the lake. They do a lot for the health being of the lake and the fish and the plants that we have here. They generate oxygen. They move the bait around throughout the year, and so it's a good place for fish to hang out and wait for that next meal if the opportunity comes for them. Also, throughout the winter, it prevents the water from freezing around that location. So it keeps, again, more livelihood in the water. You got fish that have a comfort zone for not only the fish but the bait fish also. So and they kind of congregate there. So we're going to go ahead and cast that, see what we can get right now. And as you can see over to my right, we have a gentleman fishing in a canoe, taking advantage of the opportunities that this lake has to offer. You know, having these boats, the pontoon boats, are so quiet in the water because they're electric. You're not really scaring the fish by no means. So it's nice. It's a nice approach us easing into it and being in the strike zone again of where you want to be. All right, folks, we've cast several times, probably about 5 times now, trying to get one here in top water action before the morning. The morning sun finally rises there. It's about 7:30, 7:45. So we got here pretty early. You know, we do need daylight to be able to film. So that's something that we always got to keep in mind. Here we are. We're going to continue fishing around another aerator. This is in a shallower part of the lake. And as you can see, the shoreline is pretty close to that aerator, and we're about 10 yards from the other side of the shoreline here. And so this one is right in the middle of towards the back of this little creek here in the lake. And let's see what it produces. If there's anybody hanging out down here that would want to take a hit of this black jig that I have. As you know, I've used on my other shows with you that you've watched the wacky style. Remember, with the hook is actually out of the body of the worm on sideways. In this case, again, the Texas style, you put in the hook in the body and keeping it in there, so you could remember that you could run your fingers through it and not feel the hook. That's going to prevent you from getting hung up on weeds a lot. And here we are towards the middle of August, August 20th, I believe. And so there's a lot of weeds in the ground on this lake and also the main lake too. So definitely you want to bury the hook to prevent getting hung up all the time. Okay, at the beginning of the show, I went ahead and told you all the different things that I was going to be using. I'm throwing a worm now, and once I reel it up, I'll show you the size of the worm and what technique I'm using for it. Again, we're trying different things early to see what the fish want to feed on. And you know, I've been getting a lot of questions face-to-face time with people that I've met since I started having the opportunity to film these shows, and a lot of the questions are, hey, what size worm should I be using? This and that, you know, a 4-inch, 6-inch, 8, 10, 12. You could. There's so many different worms that they have out there in the market. They all work. Okay. They all have their times to work and so forth. So continue using that. That's the beauty of fishing is fishing. You're trying different things that are going to work for you on that particular time of the year, the date, whatever it may be. So right now, as you can see, this is a 4-inch worm. Okay, because there is a lot of panfish in this lake here, and panfish is another term for brim, crappie, bluegills, and so forth. I went ahead and put, I'm using the one that has like a little chartreuse tail on it, the little end of the tail there. It's just a different color. It kind of attracts, that type of fish. I'm using a 1-odd fish hook here, which is a smaller, less thickness of it, but I'm using that. And I am going to use a bullet weight Texas style rig. Okay, you don't even, if you're going to fish the shorelines, you may not even need a weight on it. But since I'm going to be going, we're looking for fish, so I do have a this type of bullet weight. Okay, real finesse. Again, this is about an 8-pound test line. This rod here, because I am fishing a worm, I'm using like I think this is a 6'2" or something like that. Okay, so let's give this a shot. If you could focus out here to the edge of the banks here, as you can see, you got trees, bushes. You got logs in the surface of the water there, going all the way to the bottom there. Well, that's all going to produce bait fish. That's going to produce insects that may fall from the leaves or the bushes into the water, and the fish will feed on that. So they could, throughout the whole shoreline, definitely where you see structure in the water and so forth, give it a shot, because those are areas that the fish are, again, could feed off, and the fish are very opportunistic, if that's the right word that I'm trying to say, opportunists. But anyways, so they'll go ahead and hang out and congregate in areas like that throughout the shoreline, looking for an easy prey. I went ahead and I went back to my little jig and landed a small bass, and as you can see, about the same size as Keith. No, before you even think about it, it's not the same fish, so don't even go there. So I went ahead and used the pliers. That's why we bring them. It actually, it's better for the fish and yourself too when you use the pliers. You just get in there real quick and get it out. But nice looking. You can see how healthy. Look at the colors on that fish. Very healthy. It's very impressive how big these grow in a short time too. This is probably this year's hash, if that's what they're. But very nice fish. So we'll put them back here so that we could come back another day and catch them. All right, folks, I'm not gonna lie, I was under a little pressure there because Keith caught one and I hadn't, and I would never hear the end of that. So every fisherman out there knows how I felt right now, because if you bring somebody, in this case he brought me on his boat, so I thank him for that, but I would never ever heard the end of that. And not only him, then the wives get involved, and it's just crazy. Let's go back to fishing. I got to beat him. Here is the one and only beach that they have here in this lake, Keaton Lake, and it's public for everybody. As you can see, we have a lot of birds there that are using it now, so if you do come today, be careful where you lay your towel. But it's real secluded out here. Plenty of parking for people to park and enjoy the day out on this lake. You could actually, maybe if you have a floating tube or something that you could fish out of, you could park here and come down here. But real nice beach, and worth a try. Come out here and give it a shot. Not a lot of sun, so if you're trying to look for shade, this is a good place to be. I think we're outnumbered here. Very graceful animals, or birds, I should say. Hey, Captain Keith, if you could just turn it on for a little bit so I could try to hit that corner there up ahead. And look what I caught here. Now this is what I'm talking about. This is why we came here. I was getting a little bit concerned because we came from the big lake to a little lake, and the first fish we caught, the two fish we caught, were bass, and honestly that's not what we were here. Here's a perch, small little perch, beautiful, good eating fish. Of course we want them bigger than that, but look how beautiful that fish is. Look at the color on that. That is gorgeous, gorgeous fish. Let me put this here so you can see that. Now they get big, boys. You get some big girls out there. They're beautiful, beautiful fish. But yeah, kind of small, but they're loaded with this here. So thanks for showing up and playing with us today. Let me put this back in here so you can see it. Go ahead and, folks, as we could take a look at these swans here. Swans throughout their life cycle, they use the same nest every year. They come and lay their eggs and so forth. The same ones all the time, unless if somebody actually, I got a fish on. Hold on, this was not prepared, guys. But where is he? There he is. I'll get back to my story here shortly. Folks, I do have a witness that's not part of the team, but he is today. Here's a bass. So I was not expecting this. If you would, you know what, let me put my glasses down so you can see my eyes, because I wanted to make sure you know that this was not prepared, but we caught a bass here. So I'm happy about that. I'm going to put him back here. What I was saying was that the swans use the same nest every year to lay their eggs and so forth, and they're monogamous. They mate for life with that same partner. I guess till death do them apart, which is a good thing to practice. But you could see them going towards the back there. That's where this lake, the creek, runs into the golf course, and we get a lot of swans in the golf course, and this is one of the entry points or exit points of them to come in and out and be able to have the water and use the water facilities here too. So they live here, and you can see them around throughout the year, not only in this lake but also the big lake too. But really nice to catch one on this bait by here. It'll give us a good 2 or 3 minute talk conversation here. And we landed a bluegill, your traditional brim panfish, what they call. Beautiful colors too. Look how healthy that fish looks. That is gorgeous. Can't eat these yet. A little bit on the small side here, but those are nice. Beautiful colors. I'll put them back. Like I promised, we're showing you where the boat ramp is. Right now they're working on it. You can still use it. They're dredging, making it nice and deeper so boats and canoes and so forth could get through this. But there's your boat ramp. It's got a nice dock there that you could tie up while you go get your car, your vehicle, whatever. This is on Eastover Parkway if you want to reach it. That's where you could come and use this facility. But again, it's like a different world back here. A lot of trees, a lot of shade, a lot of docks, beautiful homes on this lake. So it's definitely a good place to give it a shot. So let me come on up here, Captain Keith. I had the line in the water hoping that another one would bite unexpectedly, but I guess that didn't happen. Had a great time today. I appreciate
absolutely, brother,
the hospitality. So I'm going to definitely keep Keith in mind next time I want to come out on this lake. Had a great time. We caught every species of fish. Actually, there's 2 that I didn't. You got the crappie, which I was hoping we will, and catfish. Of course, we weren't even going for catfish, but we caught the other ones. We caught bass. We had a great day on the lake. We're not going to show you all the little ones. We're hoping to get a bigger one, of course. But it was a good time. We caught some fish. I have a feeling the eclipse has something to do with it. I'm gonna use that. But thanks a lot. We'll definitely keep you in mind for next time. I'd like to try this lake again, and the boat's drifting back here. I know you got to go there, so go ahead and take care of that. Next time we come out here, I hope he has coffee and donuts for us. He did not do that, so that's going to be against him. But once again, thank you for joining us. Please tune again. Stop me when you see me out there and talk to me. That's great. I love sharing information with you and the questions you may have. This is a good time. Great show today. It was I had a good time, and I hope you did too. Thank you, and I hope to see you soon. And before we sign off, happy birthday to my wife. August 22nd, she'll be 50, but I'm glad she's. I've been with her for 20. Man, I knew I was gonna get in trouble by saying it. 28 years. I hope I'm right. Maybe 29. But thank you so much for joining us.